The zoom wars of 2026 have officially moved beyond the internal chassis. While every flagship is now packing 200-megapixel periscope sensors, we're seeing a massive rift between those relying on AI and those leveraging modular optics. In today's comparison, we're putting the biggest names in the industry, Samsung, Huawei, Vivo, and Xiaomi, against using external 2.35 times focal length extenders. Is a snap-on Zeiss, Hasselblad, Tilta, or PGY Tech lens the secret to beating the smartphone physics barrier? And can an iPhone with such an additional lens close the gap or even improve on Chinese flagships? Let's dive into the results. In this set of high-zoom shots of daffodils, we see a clear contrast between phones relying on pure computational zoom and those aided by external optics or specialized telephoto hardware. The Huawei Mate 80RS and the Vivo X300 Pro deliver impressive results in this 700mm focal length shot. The Huawei image is exceptionally sharp, with realistic texture on the flower petals and a high level of detail in the background ivy. It avoids the plastic look often found in AI-enhanced photos. The Vivo is equally strong, showing great dynamic range. The yellow of the daffodils is vibrant without being blown out, and the fine lines on the stems remain perfectly intact. The comparison between the two iPhone 17 Pro Max shots is a perfect before and after for lens extenders. Without the lens, the image is noticeably soft and blurry. The AI is clearly struggling to reconstruct the edges of the flowers, leading to a watercolor effect where fine details are lost. However, with the extender, the transformation is massive. The image becomes significantly sharper, and the textures on the petals and the surrounding branches become visible. It moves from a digital crop look to something resembling a dedicated camera. The Galaxy S26 Ultra sits comfortably in the middle as the balanced performer. It is significantly sharper than the bare iPhone, but lacks the refined, natural texture of the Huawei. Samsung's signature processing is visible here. It boosts the contrast and sharpness to make the image pop at first glance, though if you look closely at the background branches, you can see some slightly aggressive digital sharpening. The Xiaomi 17 Ultra takes a very different artistic approach. It features much deeper shadows and higher contrast, giving the photo a moody, cinematic feel typical of the Leica partnership. While it captures great detail in the flowers, the dark background makes it harder to see the surrounding foliage compared to the more evenly lit look of the Vivo or Huawei. If you are looking for the most technically accurate and detailed shot, the Huawei Mate 80RS takes the lead. However, the iPhone 17 Pro Max demonstrates that even a softer sensor can be brought up to flagship levels with the help of an extender. In this next set of images, we're zooming in on a fire alarm call point sign. The differences in texture, color rendition, and the legibility of the tiny serial number 13001AN in the bottom right corner provide a clear ranking of hardware and software performance. The Vivo X300 Pro takes the crown for pure clarity. The red is deep and uniform, and the white text is exceptionally sharp with zero bleeding. Crucially, the small serial code is perfectly readable, looking almost like a digital graphic rather than a photo. The Xiaomi 17 Ultra Leica is nearly as good, though it has a slightly softer glow around the white icons. The serial number is still entirely legible, though the characters are a bit thicker than on the Vivo. Again, for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, we see a night and day difference with the extender. Without the lens, the image is a blurry mess. The main text is barely legible, and the small serial code is completely unreadable, appearing only as a faint grey smudge. With the extender, the improvement is dramatic. While the red color feels a bit more orange compared to the others, the text becomes sharp. The serial code becomes distinct and readable, proving that the iPhone sensor just needs better light and magnification to keep up. The Galaxy S26 Ultra produces a very sharp image, but it suffers from a noisy texture in the red areas. Rather than a flat, solid red, it looks like a textured wall or a pattern of dots. This is a result of aggressive AI sharpening trying to find detail where there is none. However, in terms of utility, it succeeds. The serial code is sharp and easy to read. Finally, the TCL NXT Paper 60 Ultra struggles significantly with this high-zoom task. The edges of the hand icon and the flames are wavy and distorted by digital artifacts. The red background has a strange, blotchy appearance, and the tiny serial code text is completely illegible, lost in a sea of pixelated noise. In this comparison of high zoom at over 900mm captures of a master brand padlock, we see the battle between raw optical power and aggressive AI reconstruction. The Vivo X300 Pro provides the most balanced and realistic image in this set. The master text on the lock is clear without looking over-sharpened, and the fine horizontal ridges of the lock's body are well defined. Crucially, the texture of the painted wood behind the lock is preserved naturally, showing the characteristic orange peel texture of aged outdoor paint. The Huawei Mate 80RS takes a very aggressive computational approach. At first glance, it looks incredibly sharp. The metal has a high sheen, almost futuristic finish. However, upon closer inspection, it looks more like a 3D render than a photograph. The AI has cleaned the metal so much that it has removed the natural grime and micro-scratches seen in the other shots, resulting in a slightly painterly effect on the bolt and screws. The iPhone 17 Pro Max demonstrates exactly why an external lens is beneficial for high-zoom photography. Without the lens, the image is essentially a blurry digital crop. The master logo is legible but smudged, and the screw heads on the right have lost almost all their detail, appearing as soft grey circles. With the extender, the transformation is massive. The detail in the screw heads returns. You can clearly see the Phillips head cross, and the texture of the metal body becomes gritty and realistic. While it still feels slightly noisier than the Vivo, the extender allows the iPhone to capture actual physical detail that the software alone cannot recreate. In this final set of images, featuring a yellow wildflower growing against a weathered wood and stone backdrop, we can see how the most advanced camera systems of 2026 handle natural textures and extreme zoom detail at over 1000mm zoom. The Huawei Mate 80RS successfully captures the gritty, porous texture of the stone and the flaking paint on the wood with incredible realism. The flower itself is sharp, except in the middle where it loses all detail. The background isn't overly processed, maintaining a natural photographic feel rather than a digital one. The Vivo X300 Pro delivers a very clean and punchy image. It has slightly higher contrast than the Huawei, which makes the yellow of the petals really stand out against the grey stone. While it is exceptionally sharp, some of the very finest details in the wood grain and on the flower appear smoothed by the noise reduction software, a common trait in Vivo's Zeiss-tuned processing. The Xiaomi 17 Ultra leans into its Leica partnership with a more subdued, natural color palette. It avoids the over-sharpened look of many modern phones, providing a soft but detailed rendition of the scene. It's a great choice if you prefer photos that look like they were taken with a traditional film camera rather than a high-tech sensor. Lastly, once again, the difference between the standard digital zoom and the lens extender setup on the iPhone is massive. Without the lens, the image is muddy and lacks definition. The center of the flower, the stamen, is just a yellow blur, and the stone looks like a soft watercolor painting. With the extender, the image is transformed. You can now see individual pollen structures in the center of the flower and the sharp edges of the green leaves. It surpassed the dedicated periscope lenses of the Vivo and Huawei, especially in the detail on the middle of the flower. What's the final verdict on the 2026 flagship zoom battle? Throughout these tests, the Vivo X300 Pro, Huawei Mate 80RS, and Xiaomi Ultra 17 have consistently been the top performers for out-of-the-box telephoto shots. However, the iPhone 17 Pro Max with a 2.35 times focal length extender has proven to be a giant killer, allowing a more mainstream sensor to match or even beat the hardware-heavy Chinese flagships in pure detail. One thing is certain, we may have reached the physical limit of what can fit inside a pocketable slab. While the Huawei Mate 80RS and Vivo X300 Pro lead the pack in native internal hardware, the iPhone 17 Pro Max proved that soft digital zoom can be completely redeemed by high-quality external glass. If you're a professional who needs readable text at 1200 mm or natural textures and high-quality bokeh on a wildflower, the investment in a Zeiss, Hasselblad, or other high-quality extender is no longer optional. It's the only way to get true optical fidelity and non-AI blurred backgrounds in high-zoom photos. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what types of videos you would like to see next. Hit that like button and subscribe for more.